And I'm not going to say it now, but when the public finds out, the person that they helped save his ass, how closely he's related to the officer that did this to me, let's just say that that's when the tables are really going to turn. Because the public does not take kindly to that kind of human being, the one who they protected. Choosing the livelihood that they have chosen as a career. Having that much access to children. Mm-hmm. And then the relationship. You have no idea how close they are related. They might as well be the same person. Right? But it took me 3 years to realize, what? And as I read this to you, I want you to think of my daughters. I was judged because I waited an hour to open the doors, even though people could see my hands. They were there, right? I waited an hour until somebody got there to be able to take custody of my daughters. I did that for my daughters. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to remind everybody that I had people that were judging me the entire time. Jaime, I need you to stay away from me. I need you to stay away from me forever and always. I need you to stop coming over here commenting as if you're not the man that on this day butted himself into something that he had no business butting himself into. Literally, I have the person, one of my haters, right now, he's on this live video. And he's the one that butted himself in that business and involved himself. And all these years, sir, you've been saying, oh, well, they needed to be away from her. Really? Really? What's this going to tell you? I've already told you, this is my space. I'm speaking to you on my space because you came towards me after I've told you several times, do not make contact with me. Which now you see that I'm getting a lot of support. And so now it's cool to speak to Vanessa? Now it's cool not to talk shit about her? Really? Really? You're the reason. You are the reason that the separation was easily facilitated between me and my daughters. Get away from me. I don't block him because every time he makes contact with me, it's him not listening, and that's the only way to build a case against these people that harass you. I was judged. As I read this to you, I want you to remember, it was the judge that I got off all of my cases because of how he was treating me, and who his mandating agency, the State Judicial Commission, saw my grievance and saw it fit that he should have no business in any of my cases. So they removed him. I want to remind you that these officers gave testimony in a protective order hearing. Yeah, the ones that did this. I want to remind you that people who do this to people from the public are not credible witnesses. That on top of that, police officers are held to a higher standard. When a police officer does this, then gives false testimony, right? And the district attorney sees and has known for 3 years before this was submitted into a suppression hearing. And she didn't report those officers. When a district attorney in Texas, it's codified. They only have 3 duties. One of which the public rarely ever knows that they have that duty. The first duty is to seek justice. The second duty is to accept complaints from the public of public corruption. That's how I was able to get that district attorney to win. She barely won. But the one before her would not help my family when I was dealing with getting justice for my sons, to such a degree that I had to finally record myself when I would go and plead for help. And he wound up saying, I'm not Walmart. I don't take complaints. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When in fact, yes, you do. That's your second duty. The third duty is, it's weird. They accept child support payments at the district attorney's office. Those are the 3 duties, right? And I want to ask a question because after I read this, I'm curious. So let me just have it ready here. And I barely got it yesterday, after I made my video. These are the transcripts. I specifically asked for the transcripts after those officers. They were witnesses in the suppression hearing, and of course they repeated their lies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then they were dismissed. I want to remind you that these officers that I'm going to speak of, right? One of them works for the Border Patrol. After he did this, and is involved with cases regarding human lives that can, be detrimental to human lives, depending on what kind of mind is working in that kind of position. Right? I want to remind you that the other officer also is still in law enforcement. I want to remind you that the district attorney
Oh my god. Don't even come in and start your shit. Don't. Just
Are
go.
we back? My phone overheated. I'm just glad that I didn't have to make another live video. I'm gonna wait for somebody to comment so I can go on with this. Thank you. Thank you, God. All right. Let me turn on my hotspot. You know, I didn't say something at the beginning of this video. To the family members and friends, right, of these officers, your beloveds, because they're your beloveds, right? To the family member and friends of the human being whose ass they did this for, right? I will forever believe my daughters. I don't care how big your families are. I do not care how much you love that little guy, right? I don't care. I don't care, right? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you're the cousin. I don't care if that's your best friend. I don't care if that's your uncle. I do not care. I do not care if he's lived a wholesome life. Most serial killers do. You never know. You never know until somebody strong enough is able to expose them. Usually it's a victim. So I want to go ahead and, and just put it out there right now. I didn't care about calling out Judge Cordova for everything he did to me. He worked with these people to do this. He's not the judge that presided over the suppression hearing because I got rid of him. So if I do not care about that, none of the bad feelings and you're talking shit about my family member, I believe my daughters. I believe my daughters. I do not care of the family that this man has created and how popular he is. You should have never, ever seen anybody as prey. But when he chose my daughters, that's just too damn bad. Right? So I don't care. I do not care. Nothing that you can do. I've already survived your community, our community. What makes you think that I'm not going to survive the family members and friends of these people who I know how they're going to be judged in the eyes of the public? I know how they're going to be judged in the eyes of the public. Right now, people can hate me all they want. But when the truth is exposed, because of who he is, because he had a wholesome image, because, and you know what, if some of y'all come after me, they're going to not like you even more because they're going to remember like, oh, that's the truth. And they were talking all this shit about the mom. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah. So I don't care because I don't have no respect. I don't have no respect for human beings that protect human beings like that protect human beings that do that kind of thing to children. And the majority of the public does not like them either. I'm telling you that because all of you that are related to him that are going to try to come at me, all of you care what people think, because if you didn't, then you're not going to be mad. You're not going to be mad that you care what people think. And then when you see the public starting to dislike you for opening up your mouth to have anything negative to say about me, for doing what any mother should do, whose fault is that? Right? Whose fault is that? I want to remind y'all that one day my daughters are going to grow up. And they're going to realize why they didn't receive justice. Mm-hmm. They're going to realize how the person who was handed the evidence from the other officer to put it in my vehicle was related to the person who I believe harmed my daughters. What are y'all going to do? Go after my daughters? Some of you might, because you're like that. Right? But they come from me. They come from me. They come from me, and they were strong enough to come to me and tell me this. And if as young children they were strong enough to come to me and tell me this, then I know they are going to be strong adult women that are not going to care about the kind of hate in their generation that will come after them for being just as strong as their mother. I want to remind you that I was judged by all this. People were like, everything. I mean, the worst. It was the worst humiliation. 1 year after that, all these haters made a hate parade. They included, it was people that it was family members and friends of the people that harmed my sons. Mm-hmm. Everyone that I survived and that I helped my children survive, all grouped together because they had one common thing. They didn't like that fucking woman who survived them. Mm-hmm. So I want to remind you that one of my biggest haters, Ofelia Moreno. I want to remind Ofelia Moreno claimed that Officer Ramirez did not do this. No. Okay, because this is a district court transcript. Okay. One more time, these officers gave testimony that was not true. Mm-hmm. They work in other law enforcement agencies. The district attorney has been aware of 3 years of what I'm about to read to you, the occurrence of that. Mm-hmm. And she violated the Michael Morton Act, which states, Michael Morton was a man whose prosecutor has been the only prosecutor in Texas to ever be arrested for what was done to him. He wound up going to prison for a long time because his prosecutor, the prosecutor in his case, decided to not present and to hide evidence that would have found him innocent. The Michael Morton Act states that the circumstances under which a prosecutor is mandated, it's not may, it's shall. And there's a difference. You have no discretion. You must. And when you don't, it's a violation. So if there's evidence, well, there was no evidence that found her innocent. No, there was police misconduct. And that weighs just as heavy as exculpatory evidence. These people tore up my family. That hateful man that says the harassing things that he says to this day, right? And all of the people that support him and hateful people like that, they try to promote a narrative about me that I was doing something in a car with my daughters and I did something bad, and I didn't. It was hateful, nosy ass people from the community that decided that it was fun to participate in hate, call in a welfare concern, and then surround me and laugh. While a family was being broken up, the whole time officers did what I'm about to read to you. No one is going to be there when my daughters grow up to the age where they're going. That's why I've always been confident. I know if I was a child and I grew up and this happened to me, and it was like, it was that man's related to that man. Yeah. Another reason that I'm talking about this is because I was tortured and beaten, and the district attorney did not fully investigate that. She didn't. She failed to subpoena the live video. She failed to subpoena the names. I gave her the names of people. She couldn't even do so much as to check their geolocations, to check the communication between them, all of them together. And I want to know, when I tried to seek help to keep me safe away from that hateful man, are they going to go just as hard at him? Or no, they're just going to kind of make it seem like they're going to seek justice. And oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's bad if they do it to my daughter as a district attorney, or my family member, or my connected friend's child, or my connected friend. But they can do all that to Vanessa Tijerina. But if they do that to one of us that's connected, we're going to go hard after them. But we've been trying to prosecute and discredit Vanessa Tijerina so much. And we already worked so hard not to give her the necessary level of justice in the violent hate crime that she survived. So this next time that she's victimized, we're going to go ahead and just not give her the same level of justice that she deserves. I want to know that. So I'm putting all of that out there. So the same district attorney that has failed to fight for me when I am the victim is the same district attorney that knew about these officers doing what I'm about to read to you. One more time, I'm going to read you a transcript from the 197 District Court. This is regarding the case where I was charged with child endangerment. And then when they polled a jury, when we had a mistrial, 2 counts of child endangerment and DUI or something. And when we had a mistrial, that district attorney decided to drop those charges, increase our chances of winning, because they polled that jury and none of them would have found me guilty. So she decided to convene another grand jury, county resources, right? Re-indict me, but separate the charges this time. Yeah, separate them. So it was going to be 1 count of DUI and 2 counts of child endangerment. And she wanted me to take a plea on all this, knowing what the officers had done to me. At that point, I had already known for years. She had already known for a year. Ain't no way I'm going to take a plea deal on that. Are you kidding me? I want a jury to see this. I want a jury to see what you ignored. I want a jury to see what you enabled, what you protected, and who you protected, and why this was actually done to me. Because the ultimate goal of that day was to save their friend's ass. And by doing so, they needed to separate and ensure that the only human being on the planet that those 2 little girls had to seek justice for them would not be able to be in a position to seek justice for them. That was the motive for that day. That was the motive. I'm here soon. I'm going to try to get protection from that man. I deserve the same level of going after the people that are harming me as she puts, the same level of energy that she puts into going after me to discredit me when it's all bullshit. I want that same level of energy into doing the right thing when I'm the victim. And if it doesn't happen, then I want the world to watch her moves. Here we go. Again, I'm reading this to you. I requested the last part of the transcript, and these officers left that day. And right now, when they read this, because I'm not sure one of your family members is watching, they're not going to say anything, though. Are you? But you're going to go tell them, right? You should. Because they don't know about this. They didn't request the transcript. They thought when they were dismissed that was it regarding them. No. Regarding them is how it ended that day. And so for you people that are not going to like that I just don't shut the fuck up about getting justice, right? And this time it involves your loved one. As I read this is what your loved one did. Right? This is what your loved one did to protect his loved one. Who did a far more heinous and evil crime than he did here, because this is a crime. This is absolutely a crime. Okay? I want to remind you that the person that they protected, they live a wholesome life, right? And the community loves them. It's somebody that you would never suspect them of ever doing anything wrong, right? But the officer that put this in my car, right? He loves him. And you all will eventually know exactly why they were so close. So anybody that wants to judge me, so it's okay for officers to just go ahead and, deny me justice, deny my family justice, create injustices for us, separate us. It's okay for officers to do that, to protect each other. And I have to just shut the fuck up and take it? Because that's what's going to justify your hate, right? The state of Texas versus Vanessa Stephanie Tejerina in the District Court 197th Judicial District, Willacy County, Texas. This is a portion of the motion to suppress announcements pretrial motions, right? On the 10th day of April 2025, right? So whenever, ever, for a year. It's been a year. 1 year, exactly. It took 5 years separated from my daughters to finally prove that these officers did this. Again, both of these officers participated in a protective order hearing to keep my daughters separated from me. Judge Cordova, he greenlit that. He accepted the testimony, even though my first lawyer argued. My first lawyer tried to introduce the evidence, this evidence, to discredit him because he was the star witness of what a bad mom Vanessa Tejerina was that day. I was so bad that they didn't have a way to arrest me, so they created one, right? Yeah. But because Judge Cordova did not allow this same exact video, they were able to separate me from my daughters. On the 10th day of April 2025, so when I tell you, and I've said it many times, it was only until last year. It was only until last year. Now I can say it's only been a year ago that we were finally able to do this. So whenever that man, that hateful man, says none of her cases are dropped, then what is this? After you finish hearing this, what is this? On the 10th day of April 2025, the following proceedings came on to be heard in the above entitled and numbered cause before the Honorable Robert Garza, judge presiding, held in Raymondville, Willacy County, Texas. Proceedings reported by oral stenography. Appearing for the state of Texas, Assistant District Attorney Vance Gonzalez, who's no longer an Assistant District Attorney there. And I want to remind y'all that none of the assistant district attorneys that Annette Hinojosa or Bernard Ammerman had got, because they don't try these cases themselves. They always want to get a brand new hire to get involved. And as soon as that brand new hire realizes what she's pushing them into with me, they quit. They no longer work there. Every single time. If people don't believe me, they can check the days when they started, the days when they were put on my case, and then the day they quit. Appearing for the state of Texas, Assistant District Attorney Vance Gonzalez, Assistant District, and his bar number is there. And then appearing for the defendant is my lawyer, right? All right, here we go. So they posted one of my social media videos that a lot of my haters want to say, I don't know. It was the day after I was bailed out, right? I have no problem posting it again. It was the day that I was bailed out, and I was saying, I don't know why they arrested me. And, it was that. They submitted that. And the two videos of the of Officer Ramirez stopping me, these are the same videos. These are body camera footage. Where he tells his detective, we're still going to arrest her for something, right? I want to remind you that the hate at that time bought this man lunch, praised him. He wore a hate shirt for one of the hate pages. He did. This officer, he did. He put that t-shirt on. Thinking he'd never get caught doing what I'm about to read you. Right? So in that same video, these two videos, right? It shows him saying, you know, I'm going to look stupid if I don't arrest her for something. All right, here we go. On the record in open court, all parties present, the court. When I say the court, that means the judge. The court. All right, be seated, please. All right, Mr. Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez is my lawyer. Judge, we have the videos that we would like to offer. One video at a regular speed and the same video in slow motion. We would offer it as Exhibit 3 at this time. The court. Defense exhibit? Sanchez. Yes. The court. All right. Any objection? The prosecutor. No objections, but we're going to offer states 2, which is her statements as well. I'm not going to present it. Mr. Vance Gonzalez, I saw you recently in Hidalgo County Courthouse, right? I told you so. I told you. I told you you do not want to get involved. I told you. Right? In my email to you. That I would use every legal, lawful means necessary. And that I did not care who your boss was. Every assistant district attorney that participated in this is going to be in my book. You had the ability to, as soon as you saw this shit happening, to remove yourself. But no, you want to participate for a little bit and then remove yourself. Well, that little participation that all of you did at one point or another was harm to me. And it's part of my story. And if my true story harms you, whose fault is that? Y'all are asking questions. Jaime, get away. Get away. These officers are get away. Go away from me. Go away from me. Go away. I'm not ever going to be your friend. Go away. These officers, one of them is employed by Willacy County. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he mentioned at the beginning of the suppression hearing. And the other officer is a Border Patrol agent now, or CBP officer. I wonder if his boss knows about this. Any federal law enforcement agency would want to know of any history of an officer working for them doing this kind of thing, especially that officer is involved in investigations. Go away. God bless, man. All right. The court, defense exhibit. Mr. Sanchez, yes. The court. All right. Any objection? And that's when Mr. Gonzalez says, no objections, but we're going to offer states 2, which is her statements as well. I'm not going to present it. Mr. Sanchez says, that's fine. We didn't care. We knew how this was going to turn out. The court says, all right. Mr. Gonzalez says, when I say Mr. Gonzalez, that's the prosecutor. I'll leave this with the court reporter. May I approach the court? Sure. That's states number what? Mr. Gonzalez says 2, exhibit 2. The court, all right, number 2 is admitted. States exhibit number 2 admitted. Mr. Gonzalez, thank you, sir. Mr. Sanchez, and defense 3 is admitted. The court, defense 3 is admitted. Let me plug in my battery. This is my last video before I go on a hiatus. Don't worry, if I get any kind of backlash because of this, I will just reactivate. This is a survival page, right? No one's going to take advantage of my hiatus and think that I'm not just going to press live, simply because you thought, oh, she's not on social media right now. No, she can be whenever she wants. She can be, and she will. And she has, and she is. Right? Perfect. All right. That's my power thing. Defense exhibit number 3 is admitted. We're going to publish it to the court, Mr. Sanchez says. The court says, all right, let's see it. Mr. Sanchez, Judge, just to kind of set it up, Judge, earlier, Officer Vargas testified that he is the one in the cap, and Officer Stefan Ramirez doesn't have a cap. Defendants exhibit number 3 played in open court, so they played the video. So this is when my attorney, Mr. Sanchez, is playing it in slow motion. I'm going to pause it right here. If the court will notice, Officer Vargas is reaching deep into his left pocket. He resumes the video. I'm going to back it up. I don't know if the court saw, but clearly you can see it's not a phone in his left hand. Before Officer Vargas left for the day, before this happened, he was asked if he had pulled anything out of his pocket. He said that he pulled a phone out of his pocket. These officers had no idea that this was going to happen, though, as soon as they left. The video resumed. Okay. It's not a phone in his left hand, and if you will, I'm going to play it again, Judge. If you will watch between his legs when he hunches over, it's the tube he has. It was a methamphetamine pipe. Yeah. If you will watch between his legs when he hunches over, it's the tube he has. Video is resumed. Right there. This is when he calls him over to tell him he's found something. Officer Ramirez comes back. Right there, he is walking with it in his right hand. Earlier, when Officer Ramirez testified, he said that he brings it back so that they can take a picture. Officers are never supposed to, you take a picture before you remove the evidence. You take a picture before you remove the evidence. You take a picture as it is where you found it. You never remove it and then put it back and stage it for the picture. This is when he calls him over to tell him he's found something, okay? And he's walking in with it in his right hand. Earlier, Officer Ramirez testified, he said that he brings it back so that they can take a picture. The court, Mr. Sanchez, that doesn't mesh with Officer Vargas saying that he was pulling out his phone to take a picture. Why would he be taking his phone out to take a picture before he's even shown it to him? Because it wasn't his phone he was taking out. It was the evidence he was about to plant. And then Officer Ramirez has to go get another phone to take another picture. So why would Officer Ramirez have to go and get another phone to take another picture if Officer Vargas had perjured himself? Because he lied, and that is arrestable. That's an arrestable offense. To perjure, to lie on the stand. Why would Officer Vargas have to go and get another phone to take a picture of the evidence there if you gave testimony that the reason that the thing you took out of your pocket was a phone to take a picture? Because the truth was that you didn't have a phone. You didn't. It just doesn't make sense, Judge. And then right there, Officer Ramirez is going back with the tube that supposedly Vargas found, but really he planted. Video resumed. This is in regular time, Judge. I don't know if you noticed there, Judge, but in his right hand, Officer Ramirez was carrying something, and he hands it over. You'll see it. I'm going to replay it one more time. Video resumed. I don't know if you saw it. The court, something white? Mr. Sanchez, in his hand, yes. That something white was the sunlight reflecting off of the methamphetamine pipe. He's going to hand it to Officer Vargas. That's where Vargas is putting it in his pocket. So I will play the other one in slow motion for you two now. The prosecutor. I think it's a little cumulative. We've seen it already. You've seen it already because you had proof of your officers committing a crime for 3 years, Mr. Gonzalez. You've seen it already, but the judge hasn't seen it already. Why would you not want the judge to continue to see it? Because it's bad. It's rare in the United States that you catch officers red-handed doing something like this. Very rare. Literally putting it in and literally planting evidence. Literally. But why did you want to stop it? Why? Mr. Sanchez says, well, the handoff, Judge. Just the handoff from the very beginning. Video resumed. I don't think it's captured on this one. See it? His hand? See the hand, Judge? All right. That's all we have. The court. Okay. Mr. Sanchez. My client wants to testify, Judge. I don't know if you need to hear her or if you've heard enough. The court. Well, I mean, I don't know if you close. I mean, do you want to? If you want to rest, that's fine. Mr. Sanchez. We'll rest, Judge. The prosecutor, Mr. Gonzalez. We rest, state rest. The court. You close? Mr. Gonzalez. Close. Mr. Sanchez, we close. The court. All right. Thank you, counsel. All right. Any brief arguments at this point? And here's the prosecutor. Mr. Gonzalez, Your Honor, I guess it's our burden, but I think that we've shown that they go up. They had their PC, they smelled marijuana, the odor of it, right? They weren't even smart enough to plant marijuana paraphernalia. They wanted it to be like methamphetamine. They both confirmed that. Oh, so these officers, so he's wanting the judge to believe that these officers that my lawyer just proved should probably not even have badges because they did this shit on video. So this prosecutor is saying they confirmed they heard an odor. They also planted evidence in her car, which discredits them. So what about it? I mean, the court's going to take up their word on that. Oh, because they're officers of the court, right? But the thing is that the court just saw them violating their duties and committing a crime as officers of the court. Sir? But due to her erratic behavior, she did indicate signs of being on drugs. I did not have a positive anything. Right? I'm autistic. I'm gonna freak out because y'all are doing that shit to me again. And this time, it's a huge display of humiliation. Ask any professional in the field what happens to an autistic person when you do that to them, you foolish man. But due to her erratic behavior, she did indicate signs of being on drugs. They administered standardized field sobriety tests. The reason that they're called field sobriety tests is because you do them where? You do them on the field. You do them at the moment that the stop is made. What he doesn't mention is that they did a field sobriety test on me 3 hours after I was arrested. You see, the clues and the data that you gather from the field sobriety test is what substantiates an arrest. These people messed up so bad and they were so corrupt that they decided to administer a field sobriety test that was not on the field. They took me out of my jail cell 3 hours after the arrest. And they did a field. Of course, they were going to find what I was not going to pass that field sobriety test, even if I passed it. Even if I passed it. Because all those clues is what you give a judge to sign a warrant. All those clues is what gives you probable cause to make the arrest. You don't do a field sobriety test 3 hours after an arrest. And he mentions it as if that's not what happened. He doesn't mention the rest. He doesn't say, well, Judge, they did do a field sobriety test. They did it after they arrested her, which is unheard of. And yeah, they had a reason to be there. There's a general welfare concern. But I didn't have a traffic stop. In fact, I was live. And I didn't display any signs of neglecting or abandoning or endangering anything at all. Not one time. She's driving around with her kids. So it's illegal to drive around with your children? If anybody wants to come over here and say something negative, if you're not willing to tell me live so that the rest of the audience can see, can hear you, see you, and judge you in the way you're obviously judging me, then you're going to be blocked. I have no problem. So anybody that comes over here to try to poke a hole in, this is not a story, this is a fact, this is a transcript, this happened. All right? I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman. If you're not willing to split this screen with me and show the world who's judging me so they can hear you speak, they can hear you form the sentences that you know, they can see how credible you are. They can tell your level of experience or knowledge or anything, right? So they can judge you the way you're judging me. So, all right? They had a reason to be there. There's a general welfare concern. She's driving around with her kids. They believed the kids were in danger. They confirmed that. How did they confirm my children were in danger? Officer Ramirez, the detective asked Officer Ramirez, what are the kids doing? They're eating. You'll see my poor daughters eating their food comfortably. In fact, they don't start crying until Officer Vargas and Officer Ramirez, the officers that planted the evidence in the car, tried getting into both front doors at the same time. That's what scared my daughters. People from the public want to say, oh, it was the mother and the way she was acting. No, not at all. My daughters were eating. Even my little one told him, why are you saying that you can't hear us? We can hear you. Even a child knew better. She's driving around with her kids. They believed the kids were in danger. They confirmed that. They didn't confirm that the kids were in danger. Why are you lying? Vance Gonzalez. Plus, they had a valid arrest. Really? I was arrested at once when they found the evidence that they planted, sir. How is that a valid arrest? What's wrong with you? What's it feel like that you're the lawyer for the prosecution in this transcript saying that? What does that feel like to know that's you? That's you. That's you saying. Plus, they had a valid arrest. They got her for drug paraphernalia that was in the car already. Even though the court just saw them planting that evidence in the car. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's Willacy County. They got her for the drug paraphernalia that they just proved was planted in my car, right? So that's what our position is. By the way, Mr. Vance Gonzalez, did you not go through the whole thing? Because I did, and my attorney did. When they initially were looking in my car, their body camera footage shows an empty glove box. One more time, sir. The officer body camera footage showed an empty, completely void of anything. No contents in it. Glove box. Nothing. Do you know where they found that paraphernalia? 10 minutes after their body camera showed that my glove compartment was empty, and after that video depicted them doing that, is when something magically appeared in my glove box. That's why we shouldn't probably be district attorneys, assistant district attorneys, if you're not going to look at all the evidence, right? And you shouldn't always assume that everybody that you target with your malicious prosecutions, right, is not going to be doing what I'm doing right now. All right. My lawyer, Mr. Sanchez. Judge, we believe that the state has not met their burden, and indeed they hadn't. Clearly, she was parked at Stars eating with her children. Because of some anonymous complainers, they come up. Clearly, there's a history between them. The officer, Officer Ramirez, has admitted to harassing her before, speaks to her in a very social manner, not as a typical officer would, stopping someone and getting their identification. He already knew who she was. He was there to basically do whatever he was going to do. If you look at all the evidence, and it's very questionable, I mean, even with this video, that they were not anticipating, because this was a passerby. And indeed, you see Officer Vargas, after he's handed the paraphernalia, after Ramirez hands the paraphernalia to Officer Vargas looks to his left and right, and he looks forward. But he foolishly not one time turned back. Not once. And everything from behind was how they got him doing this on camera. If the court reviews the entire video and listens to everything, you will see that at one point they didn't even know what to charge her with. Yeah, he tells his detective, what are we going to charge her with? We're going to charge her with something, right? We're going to charge her with something, right? Can we get her for obstruction because I wouldn't let them in the car during the hour that I was waiting for someone to get there? I'm not kidding. Yes. He didn't know what to charge me with. He testified on the stand, Mr. Stefan Ramirez, the first officer, that the kids were fine. My daughters were fine. That he was going to let her go. He was going to let me go. In fact, he was told by his supervisor to let me go. He was told, you need to walk away already. You need to leave. Yet they want to charge her with the DWI after the fact. She is already in a cell for an hour when they pull her out to give her a field sobriety test because they realize there's not much here. We can't, for paraphernalia, go get a warrant for blood. So the only way we might be able to figure out if she's got drugs in her is to go get a warrant. But even then, let's say you have any traces of drugs. You don't have a DRE. How are you going to prove intoxication and impairment when their field sobriety tests themselves say 0 clues on the HDN? Horizontal, where your eyes are. The nystagmus showed nothing. On the one leg turn, the one leg stand, 1 clue, not even enough to determine intoxication. On the walk and turn, they said she scored poorly on it. But some of her size, I was 100 pounds overweight. To people in the Rio Grande Valley, this is the most overweight area of the nation. Field sobriety tests are invalid when people weigh over 100 pounds from what they're supposed to weigh, just so that you know. But nobody knows that down here. And nobody cares. But it matters. But someone of her size should not be given those field sobriety tests. Judge, that's why they have other options. But that night was about getting her. It wasn't about doing what's right. And she knew they were going to get her. That's why she didn't cooperate until somebody was there to pick up her children. All of this was a ruse to get her, Judge. They had to plant, and I showed the video, you see it there. They had to plant something to be able to say, oh, we found something. And the rest of the videos, it will show that after this, Officer Ramirez comes back to quote unquote, take a picture. One second. Why would you need to take a picture if Officer Vargas already has his phone there and took the picture? They are lies, Judge. All of this. They were out to get her, and basically were asking the court to suppress the arrest and everything that came from it. Thank you. The court. All right. Anything else? The prosecutor. Nothing from the state. The court. All right. I think initially the officers showing up there, they had a reason to show up. There's no questions about it. I mean, however, the length of time that they took there talking about to this, trying to get this lady out, I thought was kind of like, why are you taking so long? I think it kind of went out of control, and not because of me, because I was just sitting in the car. I think the officers really got themselves in a little jam there, but I don't know why they did what they did. But I don't believe that there's enough for me to award that the case continue. I'm going to go ahead and grant the motion to suppress. I think that there was no probable cause to go as far as they did. As far as the evidence that was found, I'm not making any finding on that. That is not for me to decide. As far as to determine whether there is any planting or anything like that, that's another issue to be discussed down the road. All I'm here is to decide whether the officer had whether they had probable cause to arrest her for the offense of driving while intoxicated, which I am making the finding that there wasn't. Okay? Thank you. That's what the judge says. Mr. Sanchez, thank you. That's all we have. May we be excused? The court. So we are off. You won't have to be trying a case next week because we were set for trial the next week. Unless you want to try. I don't know what else we proceed on this one. Because their case was destroyed right then and there. Mr. Gonzalez says, let me talk to my people, but understood. How did that turn out for you, sir? Exactly. The court. We're set for the 21st. So decide what. I think all of the evidence has been suppressed as a result of this. Yeah. It's fruit of the poisonous tree. When an investigation is tainted, and especially when officers misconduct themselves and do something like planting evidence, everything after that is fruit from the poisonous tree, which is never admissible in court. They ruined everything after that. I think all of the evidence has been suppressed as a result of this, but I don't know what you want to do. Mr. Sanchez, I also have a preferential setting in the 357th. I'm letting the court know. The court, yeah, let me know on this one, Mr. Gonzalez, by tomorrow. Can we decide on that? Mr. Gonzalez says, yes, sir. The court, have a discussion because we need to see whether, because we have a jury panel called in for the 24th for us. I was ready for a jury to see all this. I wanted them to. You see, and a lot of people gave me a hard time. 3 years before this, they wanted me to take a plea deal when I knew that all of this existed. Yeah. So who judged me? Who didn't believe me that officers planted evidence in the car? Who believed Ofelia Moreno when she said Officer Ramirez did not do this? Oh, I didn't ask my question. Oh, no. I had it right here. Here, let me see. I want to make sure. I asked, as a district attorney in Texas, does a district attorney in Texas have a duty to report police misconduct once they become aware of it? And it says, District attorneys in Texas have specific responsibilities regarding police misconduct. While they are primarily tasked with prosecuting criminal cases, they also have a duty to uphold justice and ensure accountability within law enforcement. Reporting obligations. District attorneys can investigate allegations of police misconduct, especially if they involve criminal behavior, which that was. That absolutely was. Not only did you plant evidence, you're held to a higher standard. That is much more higher charge than a citizen planting evidence. You're an officer. You swore an oath to the Constitution of Texas and the United States. And you committed a criminal act because you perjured yourself. You lied on the stand. But the district attorney didn't pursue any charges against these officers. No. Instead, for 3 years, she continued to prosecute me. District attorneys can investigate allegations of police misconduct, especially if they involve criminal behavior. They may also collaborate with agencies like the Texas Rangers for independent investigations. If a district attorney becomes aware of police misconduct, they are expected to act in the interest of justice, which may include reporting the misconduct or pursuing charges if warranted. And she failed to do so. This is 100%. This would never happen. Officers would never be caught red-handed on a video, causing this much damage to a defendant that they forced to become a defendant. Not because she did anything wrong, because they needed to get anything to have probable cause. Because remember, Officer Vargas had personal interest to protect. His moves that day led to a beloved of his having charges dropped the very next day. The very next day. Yeah, June 4th. Again, if a district attorney becomes aware of police misconduct, they are expected to act in the interest of justice, which may include reporting the misconduct or pursuing criminal charges if warranted. And that's it. Okay. I vindicated myself a year. That day I vindicated myself. My lawyer vindicated me, right? But you see, for anybody that will ever have to go through anything like this, right? And all you did was something as innocent as believing your children. And not just believing your children, but holding accountable that people that failed them at the school district level, failed them at the city municipal level, and at the county level. And then they decide to come after you, and then you want to hold them accountable for coming after you. And then they decide to see that when they decide that they see that you are unstoppable, and them grouping together using the real powers is not working on her, then treat her like she's not even a human mother. Because ultimately the goal was not to protect children. It was to separate them from the only human being on the planet, the only human being that was ever going to fight for those two little girls regarding what they told their mother. That's what happened. That's what happened. And I will forever believe that there is more than one victim of that person whose ass they saved the very next day. Nobody is going to make me believe otherwise, because other victims have come forward to me. And those victims were victimized after They saved his ass with my daughters. That's how brazen he was. He is. One more time. I don't care. I don't care if that's your cool cousin. I don't care if you think that he's like a good looking, whoever. I don't care if, the wife is so sweet, right? I don't care, because your sweet person did something horrific because I believe my daughters. And if somebody so closely related to you is capable of planting evidence in the course of his duties as an officer, somebody, when the world finds out, is that closely related to you, saved your ass by planting evidence in the car of the mother of the children who made claims against you, that proves that both of you have those kind of criminal minds. Both of you. I don't care who loves you. I don't care. I don't care if your mom and dad don't like what I'm saying. None of that matters to me. And none of it should ever matter. Imagine if there was, this is the Rio Grande Valley. It's a Mijito society. Mm-hmm. It's worse here than anywhere else because of the culture. They literally expect a person in my situation to shut the fuck up. You're embarrassing us. Never mind the outcries of children. No, what matters is that, the persona of our loved one is not tainted, even though he caused that to happen. And not only that, he caused severe damage to children. They want you to just shut up. And they will do any manner and method of shaming and all that. The thing is that your beloved targeted the children of somebody who has survived so many more powerful than you that love him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just the way that she survived all the other family members and all the other primos and all the other primas and all the other friends and madrinas and whatever of the family members that did whatever they did to her sons, is the same way she's going to survive you. Same way. Okay? So when the world of your beloveds gets turned upside down, is it the fault of the mother of the people that he harmed? Or is it the fault of your beloved for choosing to make the choices that he made? Right? At this point, people still doubt that my story will ever gain national attention. This is the stuff of movies. If it's the stuff of movies, it's the stuff of shows. If this is the stuff of movies and it involves officers, it's the stuff of legitimate investigative reporters. This is a huge story. It's huge. Everything about it. The way that it was done, the prosecutor saying what he said after the opposite was just proven in court. All of it. It's unbelievable. But the thing is, living in the Rio Grande Valley makes for movie moments, because movie moments happen when people do the unthinkable. Yeah, you have those great movies where it's like they do the unthinkable and they're able to survive these wonderful things, and that is a movie moment. Yeah, and it's also a movie moment when people behave in ways that human beings should never behave. That's also a moving moment. It's a nightmare. And you have to understand that that nightmare was actually lived. That was the life that was created by the choices that these people made in the lives of innocent people. I don't care if I see you in HB. I don't care if I see you at the post office. I don't care if I see you while I'm parked at a light. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. All right. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much. Christina says, could you request a new judge? Oh, no. No, the judge that was on there, not this judge. This is the judge that replaced the other judge. Yeah, I was able to achieve something that is really hard for people to achieve in Texas. It is rare. It is rare that a defendant is successful in removing a judge from their cases. The thing is, Judge Cordova, the same way I got this transcript is the same way I got portions of, because I remembered every bad thing that he told me that no judge should ever tell a defendant in any court at any level in the United States of America. And I proceeded to go and get those pieces of those transcripts, and I sent it to his mandating agency. So it was undeniably a conflict of interest to continue to have that man on any of my cases after he proved himself to be that corrupt. So actually, and if you notice how I mean, what was said, this judge did the fair thing. He did the fair thing, especially after seeing officers planting evidence in my car. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Beverly. Anastasia Underwood says, good evening, beautiful. I love seeing you on here every day. You are one of the strongest women I know. Well, this really is my last video. I did say that I would press live and reactivate if I had to survive again. And it just so happens that I got these transcripts yesterday. Beverly, no, I did request a new judge. This was the new judge. If this had been Judge Cordova, that's how bad Judge Cordova is. If this had been, remember, Judge Cordova in the protective order hearing from the events of the day that occurred because these officers planted evidence in my car, a protective order hearing was done. Judge Cordova refused to allow this video evidence that this judge allowed. Because had Judge Cordova done the right thing, then they couldn't have done a protective order, and they could not have taken my kids away from me, and they could not save the ass of that evil man who everybody thinks is a sweetheart. An absolute sweetheart. Yeah. And I don't care. Because guess what? My daughters are fucking sweethearts. And their mom is a sweetheart too. She's fucking strong though. She's fucking strong. She is resilient as fuck. But they knew. They knew. They saw how hard I went to seek justice for both of my sons, and both of my sons got justice. They knew how hard I was going to go for my little girls. And because of the person, a beloved mijito that everybody thinks is just, oh shucks, he's just one, man, that is a good guy. That is a good guy. Yeah, they wanted to save that good guy. Because it was more important for that good guy to keep that good guy image for the rest of his life than it was to allow two little girls to receive their justice. All of that will forever say more about the people that judge me from the public, about the people in power that did this to me, than anything that they can present in a court and that those people in public can say about me to tear me down. All of that will forever speak louder than anything anybody can say opposing me. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's my last live until September, but I'll see you all in September, okay? I'll see y'all in September. All right? I want to remind y'all that, like, I'm prepared for the hate. That's why I'm saying that, because I know their family members are going to be looking at this. And, I mean, I don't know what more to tell you. Those are my daughters. Those are my daughters. The choices that your beloveds made to plant evidence in my car, and the choices that the district attorney and the judges did and everybody did to save the wholesome image, right, of your beloved, you know, all of that was the cause for a separation between me and my daughters. Not because I did anything wrong. You're not going to take years away from me and my daughters. And I'm not going to go hard against all you motherfuckers that did this to us. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll do it with a smile on my face. Yes. All right. Thank you. I love y'all so much. Okay. Please pray. Please pray. I'm ready for whatever. I'm ready for whatever. For whatever. At this point, I have such a spotlight on me that whatever people do, people are going to see. This is not the situation that it was 10 years ago when hardly anybody knew what was happening to me. There's people all over the nation that knows what's happening to me. Not only that, there's people at tiers of government way above these people that are also watching what's happening. They can doubt me all they want. They can. Yeah. And prepare yourselves, beloveds of these people. If you think you're mad now, I mean, are you going to go after the higher level government officials that deal with your beloved? Are you going to go after them the way you came after me? I mean, are you going to blame them? So it's okay for people in positions of law to go and seek justice and try to get justice, but it's not okay for the loved ones of the people that were harmed to try to seek justice, right? Is that your rationale? Fuck your rationale. Fuck your rationale. Okay? All right? My rationale is that I love my daughters. And I love my sons. And I can't stand bullies, and I can't stand injustices. So imagine when an injustice is done to me or my children. Okay? Thank you. I love y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.